Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're doing something pretty interesting, taking material shared directly by you, our listener, and really digging in to get informed fast.
Yeah, it's a great way to tailor the exploration.
And our source for this deep dive is excerpts from Chenier KJ Kuenye, Introduction Outline. So basically, it sets the scene for the Diamond Sutra.
And what's really cool is where this particular discourse happened at the Singapore Buddhist Lodge. It was actually initiated by lay practitioners Han Ying and Zheng Yang.
Oh, wow. So right away, that shows its relevance for, everyday people practicing today.
Exactly. It's not just some ancient, dusty text.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're focusing on the Diamond Sutra itself, that's M Sheng Yei, and really understanding its place, its importance within all of Buddhist teachings.
It's foundational, really.
So for you listening, the key thing is getting a handle on this one text could really open up your understanding of the whole Buddhist path.
Definitely. And to get a sense of why it's so central, you have to think about the Buddha's teaching career. 49 years total.
Yeah, long time.
And for 22 of those years, nearly half his teaching life, he was focused on explaining prajnaparamita, the perfection of wisdom.
22 years on just that.
That's right. And it resulted in this huge collection. We're talking 16 major assemblies, maybe 600 volumes in the Chinese canon.
600, wow.
Could be even 1,000 volumes in Tibetan. It's just immense. Trying to tackle all of that is, well, a bit daunting.
Understatement. So it feels like you could easily get lost.
Precisely. And that's where the Diamond Sutra comes in. It's presented here as like the concentrated essence of all that wisdom.
Okay. Like a shortcut, but not really a shortcut.
Yeah.
Or like the core.
Exactly. The distilled brilliance. It lets you grasp the main point without needing to read thousands of pages first.
So prajna, this wisdom isn't just one topic among many. The source says it's absolutely central, right?
It is. The fact the Buddha spent so much time on it really underscores that. It's the heart of the teachings.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. There's this vast Mahaprajnaparamita Sutra, like an ocean of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And the Diamond Sutra is like taking a single perfect diamond from that ocean. It holds the same essential quality, but it's manageable.
That's a really good way to put it. Accessible, yet incredibly potent.
The text backs this up, right?
Yeah.
Mentioning the length.
Yeah. It notes that Kumarajiva's translation, and he's a hugely important translator in China, his work is fundamental.
Okay, Kumarajiva, got it.
His version of the Diamond Sutra is only around 5,837 Chinese characters.
Which, okay, sounds like a bit, but compared to 600 volumes?
Exactly. It's
Right.
remarkably concise. But, crucially, the source states it contains the complete essence, the whole point of Buddhist philosophy.
And Kumarajiva's version is the one that really took off in China.
Yes, absolutely. It's highlighted as the most widely circulated, the most significant version there. It's mentioned as being a single scroll, too.
A single scroll.
Yeah.
Makes sense that would help it spread, easier to copy, to carry.
No doubt, its relative brevity and format definitely contributed. And this leads to a really key concept the text brings up. New.
Okay, what does that translate to?
Roughly, prajna is the general outline or maybe the guiding principle of all Buddhist teachings.
Yeah.
It's fundamental.
The guiding principle.
Yeah, okay.
And there's an analogy used, isn't there?
Yes.
Something about a fishing net.
Yes. That's a great analogy. Think of a big fishing net.
Okay.
The main rope running along the top edge, the one you pull on, that holds it all together, that's the main rope or outline.
Right.
The rest of the net, all the individual threads and knots, that represents all the different Buddhist teachings, practices, doctrines.
Okay, I see where this is going.
The idea is, by understanding the whole net, all the teachings, you eventually grasp the main rope, prajna. But also, if you grasp the main rope, prajna, you understand how the whole net works. Exactly. You see the underlying unity, you pull the main rope, the whole net comes together. So understanding prajna stops you getting lost in all the individual details. You see the core.
So if you really get the Diamond Sutra, this concentrated prajna, you kind of get a key to unlock all the other teachings.
That's the idea. The text says deeply understanding. It means you'll understand all Buddhist principles, 8, which means sort of like you'll find the path everywhere you look, and you'll be resourceful. Things will flow naturally. You see the connections.
Because you understand the central principle. Makes sense.
And the source really drives home how popular the Diamond Sutra became in China. It wasn't some obscure text at all.
More famous than others?
Apparently, in terms of general awareness and influence, it even surpassed other really important ones, like the Amitabha Sutra.
Wow. Why was it so popular? What pushed it forward?
Well, a huge factor was the Chan school, what we often call Zen, especially during the Tang Dynasty. Masters like the fifth patriarch, Hongren, and maybe most famously the sixth patriarch, Huning,
Mm-hmm.
they really promoted it. They saw it as a direct path.
Kuenye is said to have attained enlightenment hearing just a line from it, right?
That's the traditional account, yes. Their emphasis really cemented its place in Chinese Buddhism.
And it wasn't just intellectual, was it? There was a belief about merit.
Yes, the text mentions that. There was a strong traditional belief that reciting it, studying it, sharing it, all these generated significant merit, good karma, basically.
Benefiting the individual.
And even the nation as a whole. Engaging with the sutra was seen as an inherently beneficial and auspicious act.
Okay, so now the source we're using, this commentary, it's tied to a specific person, Jiang Weinong. Tell us about him.
Right. Jiang Weinong, he lived from 1872 to 1938, a lay Buddhist practitioner, not a monk, and he was deeply, deeply dedicated to the Diamond Sutra.
Okay.
The source emphasizes that the text we're drawing from is based on his meticulously corrected version of the sutra. This wasn't just his opinion, it was serious scholarship.
What did that involve?
He went back to the Dunhuang manuscripts, these ancient texts found in caves, incredibly important finds.
Right, the Dunhuang caves.
And he compared them with lots of older commentaries. He was trying to create the most accurate version possible. Really rigorous work.
So he was like a textual detective for the Diamond Sutra. The source mentions his collation notes.
Yeah, suggesting that if you really want to see the detail of his work, comparing different versions, you could look at those notes. It shows his commitment to getting the text right.
And his personal story is interesting, too.
Very. He apparently knew the sutra from childhood because his grandfather recited it daily. He even passed the imperial exams, became a zhouwen, which was a big deal.
So a scholar in the traditional sense.
Yes, but his path shifted, especially after his wife passed away. That seems to have been a turning point, pushing him more deeply onto the spiritual path.
Ah, okay. A common catalyst, sadly. So what did his Buddhist path look like then?
Well, he formally took refuge, took bodhisattva vows, studied with respected teachers like Master Weijin and Elder Master Dixian.
Big names.
Very. And he was meticulous. He actually took notes on their lectures, like on the Surangama Sutra and the great treatise on calming and contemplation. Those notes themselves became important texts.
So he wasn't just a student, he was documenting the teachings.
Exactly. And apparently, Elder Master Dixian thought so highly of Jiang Weinong's grasp of the great treatise that he said Jiang's insights sometimes went even deeper than his own explanations.
That's incredible praise from your own teacher.
It really is. It speaks volumes about Jiang Weinong's depth of understanding.
And his later lectures were specifically on the Diamond Sutra. What was unique there?
The source suggests his understanding really ripened later in life. He had insights that weren't common in older commentaries, like contrasting the start of the Diamond Sutra with other big Mahayana sutras.
So.
Many sutras start with, amazing displays, lights, Buddhas gathering, grand stuff.
Right, miraculous signs.
But the Diamond Sutra starts with the Buddha just getting dressed, taking his bowl, going for alms. Totally ordinary.
Mundane, almost.
And Jiang Weinong saw profound teaching in that ordinariness. The point being that the highest wisdom isn't separate from daily life. It's applied in these simple, everyday actions.
So the extraordinary is found within the ordinary, not separate from it.
That's it, precisely. He also noticed subtle things, like a slight difference in phrasing, soatu versus meaning.
Nopo.
Both basically mean, how should one abide, or how should abiding be? But the word order shifts slightly between sections. Jiang argued this tiny shift had different implications for practitioners at different stages. Very nuanced reading.
Shows how closely he studied it.
Yeah.
And his dedication went beyond study. The text mentions his passing.
Yes, it mentions he apparently foresaw his own passing, and there were auspicious signs, which in Buddhist tradition can indicate spiritual attainment.
Interesting.
And his final advice was apparently to prioritize the 10 great vows of Samantabhadra, showing a very practice-oriented approach. His own path was summed up as swing, which means teaching based on prajna, wisdom, practice focused on Amitabha. So while his teaching focus was the wisdom of the Diamond Sutra, his personal practice was aimed at rebirth in Amitabha's Pure Land.
Ah, so integrating both wisdom and faith aspiration.
Exactly. He's presented as this really exceptional lay practitioner from that era, over 40 years dedicated just to the Diamond Sutra, producing this definitive edition.
And the text we're using today, the Essential Notes, is an abridged version of his big commentary.
That's right. Our Buddhi, that's our core source material for this deep dive.
Okay, and this source jumps right into a fundamental question. Why study Buddhism at all? What's the point?
And the answer given is very clear. Self-liberation and liberating others.
Simple, but profound.
It's presented as the absolute core aim. The text uses that river analogy again.
Crossing the river.
Yeah. This shore is samsara, the cycle of birth and death we're stuck in. The other shore is liberation, nirvana, enlightenment.
So the goal is to get yourself across.
And then, out of compassion, help others cross too. That's the bodhisattva ideal inherent in Mahayana Buddhism.
And it specifically warns against mistaking worldly goals for the real purpose, right?
Absolutely. Things like getting promoted, getting rich, staying healthy, living a long life. These might happen, but they aren't the reason for Buddhist practice according to this view. That misses the bigger picture.
Because the ultimate aim is liberation from the whole cycle.
Exactly. Worldly success can be found in many ways, but only the Dharma, the Buddhist path, offers the way out of suffering and rebirth altogether.
And the text says something quite encouraging to the people hearing this discourse, and by extension, to us, you, the listener.
It does. It mentions that those drawn to these teachings likely have very deep positive karmic roots, that they've maybe supported countless Buddhas in past lives. Just encountering this is auspicious.
Which is a nice thought. But then it asks a tough question.
Right. If you have such good roots, such positive history, why are you still here, still stuck in the cycle of suffering and rebirth?
Ouch. Good question. And the answer.
A lack of real, unwavering determination? A lack of resolute commitment to actually ending the cycle? It suggests true achievement in any Buddhist path means transcending the 6 realms of rebirth, nothing less.
Okay, so this connects to why someone already practicing, say, Pure Land Buddhism, focusing on Amitabha, would study the Diamond Sutra. It seems different.
The connection made here is really practical. It's suggested that the wisdom in the Diamond Sutra helps Pure Land practitioners deal with obstacles, specifically seeing through and letting go.
Seeing through illusions and letting go of attachments.
Precisely. Attachments, clinging, fixed ideas. These things can really hinder sincere practice, like chanting Amitabha's name, Nianfo. The Diamond Sutra's emphasis on emptiness and non-attachment can help cut through those obstacles.
So it's not replacing Pure Land practice, but supporting it, helping you do it better, more effectively.
Exactly. The goal stated here is to use this wisdom to facilitate true letting go, so your focus on Amitabha and aspiration for rebirth in the Pure Land becomes stronger, clearer, and ultimately successful.
Okay, that makes sense. Using wisdom to purify the practice. And this all ties into the 6 paramitas.
Yes, self-benefit and benefiting others are rooted in the 6 paramitas, the 6 perfections.
Remind us what they are again.
Generosity, ethical conduct, patience, diligent effort, virya, concentration or meditation, haina, and wisdom, prajna.
And prajna, wisdom is the last one, but also foundational.
Exactly. It's presented as the foundation that supports and guides all the others. These 6 are seen as the daily conduct, the operating principles for a bodhisattva.
And here's a really powerful point the text makes. You don't have to leave your life to practice these.
No, quite the opposite. It emphasizes the unique strength of Buddhism is that you can practice these 6 paramitas, and indeed all myriad good deeds, right within your current life, your job, your family, your situation.
So any job can be bodhisattva practice.
That's the assertion. Whether you're a teacher, a doctor, a cleaner, a business person, you can infuse your actions with generosity, ethics, patience, effort, concentration, and wisdom. You walk the path right where you are.
That's incredibly empowering. It brings it right into your everyday reality.
It really does.
Okay, one last major point the text covers. The relationship between the Diamond Sutra and another huge important text, the Avatamsaka Sutra, or Seuss. How do they fit together?
They're presented as complementary. The Diamond Sutra gives you the core theory, the methods, the understanding of emptiness and non-attachment. It's the why and the fundamental how.
The principles.
Exactly. The Avatamsaka Sutra, especially the part called the Gandavyuha Sutra, about the young pilgrim Sudhana.
Ah, yes. Sudhana visiting 53 teachers.
Right. That story provides the practical living examples. Those 53 teachers are shown as Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, what the Diamond Sutra calls Akiye, living out these principles in all sorts of roles.
So they're the embodiment of the Diamond Sutra's teachings.
Precisely. You see merchants, kings, courtesans, children, hermits, people from every walk of life who achieved realization by practicing within their circumstances. They show you what the Diamond Sutra looks like in action, in diverse human lives.
So Diamond Sutra is the map. Avatamsaka shows you people who successfully follow the map in various terrains.
That's a great analogy. Theory and practice, principles and living examples. The text suggests they are essentially one, mutually supportive, providing the complete picture.
And it loops back to the start of the Diamond Sutra again.
Yeah, reinforcing that point about the Buddha's ordinary actions. It wasn't grand miracles that initiated the teaching, but daily life infused with wisdom. That's the model.
Okay, so bringing this deep dive toward a close, we've seen the Diamond Sutra as this concentrated essence of prajna, this crucial wisdom.
The guiding principle for understanding all Buddhist teachings.
We've touched on Jiang Weinong's incredible work in making an accurate version accessible and offering profound insights.
His dedication was really something else.
And we've explored the core purpose, liberating ourselves and helping others, rooted in practicing the 6 paramitas, especially wisdom, right in our daily lives.
That integration is key.
And for you listening, especially if you're drawn to the Pure Land path, we hope this look at the Diamond Sutra offers a way to deepen that practice, to really understand and let go of what holds you back, making your Amitabha recitation more focused and powerful.
Yeah, using that sharp edge of wisdom to clear the path toward rebirth in the Pure Land.
It really leaves you thinking, doesn't it? How can you take this profound wisdom shown so simply in the Buddha's daily routine and consciously weave it into your own life, your own actions, big or small?
Maybe a good reflection point is, where's the connection for you between the theory you learn, like from this discussion, and how you actually practice it day to day? How do you bridge that gap in your own experience?
A perfect question to ponder. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.